This is episode 37 of the WiLLcast, and our guest today, Becca, was
Paul Reetz of Integrity Saw and Tool Inc.
And Paul has a local manufacturing business right here in Fond du Lac. I think they have about 30 employees. They make cutting tools. They sharpen saws. They really make the tools that make the parts that go into a lot of different manufactured goods. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. What was your take?
You and Paul just seem to be having a lot of fun. Hearing you two spitball your different, manufacturing brains, small town
ideas,
businesses. Yeah, it was really, you guys were very much on the same wavelength. It was really fun to watch from the other side of it. So
yeah, it was cool because, Paul has a sales background, which in small business manufacturing in this area, it's actually kind of rare. A lot of people are focused on the product. They're focused on the manufacturing process. And, Paul is able to see both sides of the business equation, both the product engineering and manufacturing side, also the product sales and the marketing side. And, you really need both of those. You need to do both of those well in order to grow your business. And he has clearly done that.
Yeah, definitely. He's been with Integrity. He was started as a regional sales manager in November of 2000. So he's been with the company for a super long time. I believe he took over as president about a dozen years ago. So he's been doing some really great things, and he's a great presence in the community.
He really is.
Very, very similar as well in that I think his team loves him.
Yes.
They seem to have a really fun culture over there, and I think there's a lot of alignment,
clean,
synergy between the brands.
Fun working environment, clean shop. If you go to his website and look at the pictures of the manufacturing space, they really kind of defy a lot of the manufacturing stereotypes. It seems like a really fun space for people to work both in the office and on the floor.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this episode is brought to you by WiLLsport, which is Wisconsin Lighting Lab's sports lighting brand. We do tennis complexes, we do football fields, baseball fields, soccer complexes, trap ranges. We do indoor sports, outdoor sports. And if you're interested in partnering with us on your sports project, please reach out. You can find our sports lighting products at www.willbrands.com. All right, well, enjoy episode 37 of the WiLLcast. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. You were asking before we started, and we are rolling, right, Becca?
Oh, we're
rolling.
All
right, cool. So
we're done swearing. Okay.
So we you asked me, why WiLLcast? A lot of people ask that. Now a lot of the content is non-lighting related, but really it's about promoting the community. Talking to other business leaders. If we're interested in something or if we want to learn something, why not record it? Other people can learn from it. So often the things that you learn are through conversations with other people. And I look back for the last 10 to 15 years, like, man, I wish I had been recording, more of those conversations so you can look back and, learn after the fact and also be able to broadcast it for other people to learn. So we've had the Fond du Lac city manager on here. We've had people at Wisconsin Lighting Lab, talking about lighting related things. And we had a NASCAR car chief on last week. That one hasn't been published yet. So we try and keep a Wisconsin theme, Wisconsin people, manufacturing, engineering. But that's really kind of the genesis and evolution of it. So.
Have you had the chance to talk to Sam Kaufman, the person who's running for county executive?
I don't believe so.
No, but we should.
I don't think we've connected. Oh, nice.
He did a tour of our shop yesterday, and it was I never met a guy like that who seemed so enthused from the start when he walked in to the 90 minutes later during his hour tour.
Sounds like a guy that should be in politics.
Yeah, 90 minutes later, but he wasn't stumping for anything. He was just being himself and was just really inquisitive and really cared about not only a small business, but Fond du Lac County, obviously, but just it's not all about the big businesses in the area.
Oh, for sure.
It was really cool to see.
And I think
exciting for that.
And that's another reason for doing this is there's so many cool things happening in the area that people don't always hear about. And like you said, we both have small businesses, and there's a lot of opportunities in small business, and small businesses can probably do a better job of promoting themselves in general. And why not start to provide a platform for doing some of that? So, enough about us. Tell me about Integrity Tool and Saw.
Well,
what are some of the background details on your business?
Well, Integrity Saw and Tool.
Saw and Tool. All right.
We're a growing company. And
Okay.
It's exciting. We have a lot of great people that we've hired, been fortunate enough to hire and retain over the last few years to help us set our sights on different markets, different areas, and just the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
From what us starting the company, or the previous owner starting the company a long time ago in 1986, out of the basement of his house, turning it into a garage, doubling the size of the garage, and another shop by 1998. They moved into a building in the industrial park across from Rolling Meadows Golf Course. So to have it grow, that was about as far as he thought it could get. Hired a young whippersnapper salesman at the time, and kind of the same thing that I'm going through right now in my positions. Like, you hire younger people, get different ideas, meld it with what the experience that you have with the people who've been around for quite some time, and just see where it can take it. So it's a really exciting time to be in our business, in our industry. There's a lot of changes, which I'm sure you're seeing on your end too.
For sure.
And it's just a great time to be, especially after everything we've all gone through the last 2 years. It's a lot of fun.
And I was really interested looking at the site and, understand that you had a sales background. And, I think, one observation I've made, with small businesses in the area is they're so good at the engineering and the manufacturing side of things. Sometimes there's not as much of a focus on the sales side of things. And really, to have a growing business, you need both. You need that demand creation. You need to get into new markets. You need to develop the sales and the marketing side, and also have the engineering and the manufacturing capacity. How has your sales background, contributed to the growth? And how do you see, kind of continue to develop not only the manufacturing capabilities, but the sales and the marketing side of things?
Well, I have a pretty diverse background prior to coming to Integrity Saw and Tool. So worked in the insurance industry, worked in the print industry, worked in promotional products before working in cutting tools. There's
different worlds.
Yeah, there's nothing that's connected there at all. But to be able to sit, once I got to our company, and had a front row seat for 10 years as a salesperson, and being not given, but worked very hard for the previous owner to get an opportunity to do what very few people are able to. When you sit and it's like, man, if I had the chance to run this company, I would do this. Well,
you were making notes the whole time
for 10 years worth. So it's like, wow, if we could have more of a website presence.
Yep.
We had no website, in 2010. Picture that, no real website presence. So to develop that, to look at marketing. We used to do everything directly to customers. Now we're doing more through distribution. It's to change our mindset, especially the employees who've been there the longest. It's tough. Why can't we just talk to the customer? Why do we have to talk to a distribution center through different people and not get the answers we're looking for? It's definitely changed our mindset, but it's been the best way to grow, because the bigger companies we're targeting all use distributors.
Yep.
They don't want to talk to who's Integrity Saw and Tool. I'd rather talk to a supply house that they're familiar with. So even the biggest boat manufacturers in town have that wall between us and actually talking to their engineers.
They have their existing buy channel. They have their existing terms. They have their existing account managers.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So it's just been a different mindset from our standpoint. Where our previous owner, he didn't like computers. He didn't. He wasn't texting or anything like that. He scribbled down notes, didn't like voicemail, anything like that. He wanted to talk to people directly. For us to realize, wow, we can't just walk in, knock on the door and say, hi, I'm Paul, I'm going to sell you something today. It's such a slower process to develop those relationships, because we don't want to have just selling people a product one time. We can place orders all day. We want the partnerships to get the repeat orders, and that's where what we've been doing, and the expansion has come from us going from the service work to the manufacturing and hitting everything in between.
So do you still get the voice of the customer? Will you guys go along with a distributor or a wholesaler to the, I guess, the shop floor and the people that are the end use of the product? And will you guys still get kind of intel on things they like, things they don't like? So you still have that indirect path to market, but you can also get direct information from the people that are using it? We're
fortunate to have a business development manager who is really good at cold calling and he's really good at establishing the relationships and to develop that, because a lot of the distributors don't want us to know even who the end user is. So there's a lot of...
Is that out of fear that you might go around
yes,
them?
go direct.
Okay. Yep.
And back in the day, that's how they did things.
Yep.
So our some of the distributors that dealt with our previous owner, they knew that the second that there was an issue, we would go direct.
Yep.
So we had to overcome some of that and reestablish some of those relationships with distribution. But it has gone much better now with the combination, knowing, hey, we know it's going to take some time, and we just have to continue to prove ourselves.
Yep.
One thing we really strive for is a level of world-class customer service, instead of, hey, what's good enough for Fond du Lac County is good enough for everybody. It's like, no, not quite that. So, and I'm sure you see that with in your industry too. Everything isn't the same every place you go. There's different levels of expectations, and the speed of things is different from going out to Waupun to talk to a customer versus going to Milwaukee.
Yep.
And we hit that both places every week, multiple times.
So I guess taking a step back to the product, what is your product? What is your service? What does your business do?
Well, the company was based on service work. So within the industries that we've targeted with manufacturing and with woodworking, we're built on sharpening of cutting tools. Mm-hmm. So with manufacturing metal cutting tools, whether it's aluminum, steel, they're using drill bits, they're using end mills to machine parts. So you'll never see any of our products. You're not going to go into Walmart and see our name on anything, but we've had a hand in building many of the things that are at most of the stores or manufacturers, industries that you'll see. So within that, we've been able to grow, expand from just doing the sharpening and service work to manufacturing of the tools itself. So we have 9 different CNCs on the cutting tool side, on the round shank cutting tool side. So we're able to buy the material, make it from scratch. We've made millions of dollars worth of investments the last 4+ years to help our product line expand, our capabilities expand, and the other thing that we've tried to push is to be the fastest producer out there. So we know we're not the cheapest. Quality is expected within our industry because everybody has CNCs, so you should expect high quality no matter what. But we're trying to be the fastest company out there. So you can contact us and 3 other companies. We're hoping to get the PO because our quote's already in your hands. We're hoping to get the PO before they even get back to you, so you don't have to stall your decision making.
Speed to lead.
Yes, yes, something of that sort.
Yeah.
But the mentality has been there, and that's where our experience really helps.
Yep.
With a lot of the employees that we have, that they're just used to sprinting when they get there.
It's such an important cultural element, and
Yes.
we operate in a very similar way where if somebody's asking the world of us, we kind of get excited about delivering on that.
Yeah.
If it's custom and it's fast and it's a nice order, and it's something within our wheelhouse, it's nice when everybody rallies behind and gets it done rather than a big sigh like, oh man, we have to do this again. I think it's once you don't have that culture anymore, I'm sure it'd be difficult to get it back. So
that's one thing we have to remind each other.
Yeah.
And I have to tell myself that some days, okay, it has nothing to do with our egos. It has nothing to do with them again. It's like, no,
Yeah.
It's always based on the customer. So
Absolutely.
if it's a customer request, it's not because one of our people says, I want it there sooner. It's
Yeah.
like, no, that's what they're asking for. And to base our lives around that for 40 hours,
Yeah.
sometimes 45, 50. But to just have that mindset when you come in that it is for someone else, it's not for me.
Yep.
It's for the customer. And if they leave us, guess what? There's going to be lots of us here till the point there's none of us here.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting within manufacturing, there's so many layers to the supply chain where the people making the end mills or machining the carbide or cutting the tools or making the lights or making the parts that go into the lights, they could be 10, 12 layers removed from the person using it. And what we try to do is we try to get, engineering, manufacturing, also interacting with the customer. If you hear it right from the customer rather than hear it from a salesperson selling to a salesperson selling to a salesperson, it's a lot. It's harder to say no. It's easier to understand the predicament the customer is in. I think that, I also think that's really important in a lot of small businesses. Get the manufacturing, the technical people, also solving direct customer problems.
So here's the thing, because I'm a little bit older than you, but a struggle that I have is, and guys on our team will tell me this, they don't like to pick up the phone.
Yeah. Well, young people don't like to pick up the phone either.
So when they're typing, everything sounds angry. Nothing really sounds happy.
That's funny. No, that's funny.
And you put in some capitalization and it really sounds angry. Yeah. So I'm like, well, did you call them? No.
Yeah.
But read this. I'm like, did you call them? We need to know when do they really need it? Because it sounds
mad.
Mad.
Yeah.
Always.
And then if you do it via text, it sounds even more upset. We have, we probably send 100 text messages a day to different customers. We have contractors and we have people that contact us, sales agencies. We also sell through resellers as well. And so there's so much communication via text now. And so you think about, the days of salespeople walking in and cold calling completely face to face. Now, you're doing, 6-figure projects that start out via text message. It's a completely different world. It's hard to interpret some of that communication.
Texting. Wow. Are you sending emojis to your customers as well?
I'm sure.
Don't look at me.
I'm sure marketing does it too. But yeah, it's
no. I'm a big fan of the happy exclamation point.
Yeah, exclamation
I'm really
point quotas.
Happy to talk to you.
So yeah, but you're right.
Poor Paul.
I feel like I've been left behind. It's like, can't we just pick up the phone and talk? Because then you could hear how urgent they are.
I know.
And they can give it.
You're right.
I need it soon. I'm not scolding you.
No.
The old man on the porch.
No. You're absolutely right. And also, and then the next best thing is to be in person. If it's, I think that was also something that was lost the last couple of years. You can't solve everything digitally. There's no substitute for, going to an application, talking to the people that are solving the problems. If we have an install problem at a job site, which can happen from time to time, well, get the technical people down there and work through it with the contractor and figure out what happened. Rather than the 40 thread email chain. So yeah, I think phone is great. Phone's probably better than text, but even better is having these in-person meetings and things like that.
It's fun for our process engineers. One of them who has some advanced machining expertise, that he can walk into a shop and put his hands on the side of the CNC or a couple knuckles and feel the vibration.
That's crazy.
And tell you there's something wrong.
Something's out of balance.
Yeah, so I could do it to our wash machine at home if it's out.
Just give it a couple hits.
But to see that, or to have them smell the chips, of what is the cutter cutting too hot, and because you can smell the burnt chips, the metal shavings. Like, wow, I'm not familiar with that expertise, but hey, we hired somebody who's
just a sixth sense.
Yeah, but that's that extra layer of service that we like to have over what our competitors do, and that's where we tell our younger guys who tell me, I'm really not comfortable picking up a phone. Like, we hired you for sales. Holy cow!
Yeah, no, it's funny until there's just different ways of doing things, and there seems to be a trend towards not getting on the phone or not getting in person, and it's interesting to see where it goes.
But it's also interesting because they're dealing with people their age who don't want to pick up the phone either.
Yeah.
So it's traceability, it's accountability on their end. It's like, well, I told him 11 days ago this here, and they produced that, versus me, I would have remembered the conversation. But
yeah, do you think that people are concerned about making mistakes at times 100%. Where they're not? I've noticed, a lot of people are just used to experimenting and trying things and making mistakes and trying again. And it seems like maybe there's also a trend at times where people just expect 100% of perfection all the time, which is good to strive towards, but it's also good to realize that not everything is going to be perfect out of the gates.
At my computer, I have multiple sayings around my keyboard, and the one right above is "Don't let perfection get in the way of progress."
Yeah.
And we have, when you're dealing with engineers, when you deal with customers who want something, they're not used to making mistakes.
Yep.
In sales, hey, you make a mistake, we'll fix it.
Yep.
And our people are more programmed to, we gotta get this right.
Yep.
And take a little extra time. So I've had to change my personality. I've again surrounded myself with a couple people who've really steered me the right direction to take a little extra time and let's get it right. We could still be faster than everybody, versus in the past it was like if somebody called, I want to give them the answer as soon as I can on the phone, because if they hang up, they're going to call somebody else. So you try to just provide that quickly.
Yeah, that is a very common dynamic between sales and marketing, and then engineering and manufacturing. Is sales, you kind of want to make an estimate and move on, and everybody kind of has their tolerance with, yes, it's possible, yes, it's not, and some people have a wider tolerance of, did you promise 4 weeks when historically we can do it in 8 weeks, but they are different worlds. It's what one world is a lot more abstract, and the other world is super technical.
Mm-hmm. So what's better?
I just think I think what is needed is just to acknowledge that there are differences, and I think certain people are gonna thrive in certain teams and certain environments, but also knowing that everybody can learn from each other. Like if a salesperson has a tendency to maybe not want to learn the technical or the operating side, knowing, they're going to be a much better salesperson if they understand at least an element of that, an element how the technical team works. If the technical team only wants to focus on the requirements and executing those requirements, they might not fully understand what it's like to deal with a customer who is less technical. It's almost, everybody's a translator in between two parties. Like the salesperson is a translator between the customer and the internal team. In some companies they have product managers, which are translators between the sales team and the engineering team. Engineering is a translator between product managers and vendors, and then they have engineering teams. So it's just, I think people need to appreciate each other and know that people speak different languages, and that's actually a common theme on the WiLLcast, is just all the different languages in business.
We had a discussion this morning amongst a group of process engineers and our operations manager and myself, and we were talking about this new opportunity, and this guy's a know-it-all.
Yeah,
like great. If he knows more than we do, we can. And even if he doesn't use us, let's learn as much as we can.
Yeah.
Let's put our egos to the side.
And what does that mean? That you've already tagged them as something? You've already had your mind made up about somebody with one conversation. So that means everything downstream of that initial interaction, you're probably not going to be listening as much as you should.
Right. So to see the difference between yesterday, where we shouldn't deal with this person, and then we pulled the team back together, and then hey, let's really look at what's going on here. We can learn as much as we can about this.
Yep.
It's opening us a door to another potential product line for us based on the knowledge that this gentleman is giving us. Giving us for free. It's free advice to me. I'm like, hey, we should be sponging this up. And by the end of the conversation, we're all nodding our heads. And it's like, yep, we're going to do this. Take a little further. It took an hour to get to that point, but it's progress.
Yeah.
And it's all in the name of the customer. And even if it's not this one customer, it's going to help the next 10 that we have avoided because we didn't have this knowledge.
Another thing that we've talked about on the WiLLcast as well is the different timelines that people operate on. If you're machining tools, if you're building lights, you're really thinking in terms of hour increments in your day. You might, if you're in a planning role, you might plan out a couple weeks. If you're in a supply chain role, you plan out a few months. If you're running a business, it's really your job to interface between all those timelines, but also not forget about the future. And I think sometimes I've noticed that with myself is, I'll be speaking on one timeline because that's the current problem I'm trying to solve, when the other person is operating in a different time frame, which I think can also contribute to some of these communication breakdowns.
I know I'm not easy to work with. Looking at a coworker right now, like I'm not, because I have a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
And I want to get them.
Oh, you're one of those. We have one of those. Really? Don't we, Adam? An idea guy? No way.
And not all of them are good.
Oh, no.
But, hey, what do you think about this?
What are you talking about? All of Adam's ideas are really, really, really good.
Most of them are probably not, but it's still fun. See what sticks.
Yeah, let's try all of them. And we're
experimentation.
Not afraid to make a mistake.
Yep.
And knowing that but nothing is going to put us out of business.
Yeah.
It's all in the name of progress. So I've struggled because of the people we've had there the longest time. We've always done it this way.
Ooh.
Well, why would we want to change? So you have to take different tactics to prove to them maybe this would work. And I'm
Yeah.
not afraid to make a fool of myself in front of them
Yeah.
in trying, and at least have them come around a little bit, move 10% different to what they're normally doing. So
Yeah, and I think that oftentimes once people see a big idea work a few times, it oftentimes becomes easier to buy in. Not everybody buys in, but it's we make big changes quite often, and you need kind of a critical mass of people to buy in, and then over time it seems like more and more people will start to see it. And there's just some people that don't like operating in that environment too. So, but interesting common themes across different industries.
But it shows a difference in the generations, perhaps. I
Yeah.
guess we might be at that point because our previous owner made all the decisions. There wasn't a team.
Yeah.
It was follow him, and we did.
And things didn't change as much. The world is becoming, things are changing on a quarterly basis where it used to change every 4 years, every decade. It seems like things are becoming more complicated and changing over faster all at the same time. So if people have been there a while, they're used to operating in a different mode. Things do change a lot more, I think, than they used to.
What's fun is at Sturgeon Spearing this year, I happened to see the previous owner for the first time in years because he was in a bunker waiting for COVID to pass.
Oh, geez.
Sorry, Rick. Him to just absolutely express, he goes, "There's no way I could be in business right now.
Yeah.
We would have gone out of business with the way I was doing things." And it's like, I know it wasn't a compliment,
Yeah.
but it was
Just an
a
acknowledgement
realization,
of,
hey, I couldn't have done it. And
Yeah.
and that's why I know I've never expressed to anybody that I'm the know-it-all, but it's so much better now the way we've built our
Yeah.
team to have more people input. I can ultimately make that decision, but
Yeah.
I have great people surrounding me right now that he did not have because he didn't allow that.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure
It's an older school way of looking at it.
and with your team approach, I'm sure you can just see the smiling faces here and knowing the attitudes and what you guys are up to, that it's going to be a successful and fun thing to do,
Yep.
and not just do more, keep doing it.
And I think it's also, evidence that, more, younger people need to be attracted to manufacturing. It's not just on the shop floor either. And when you talk about manufacturing, there's sales positions, there's marketing positions, it's accounting, it's building things, it's machining. And I think that, that energy is good. It's good energy. And also getting the sales team interacting with the technical team. And, I think, I guess, how do you see manufacturers, big and small, attracting more young people to hands-on things and getting more young people involved? Because it seems like you guys have done that, and it sounds like it's an important piece of the business.
Well, we're very fortunate to be associated with Envision Greater Fond du Lac. That has a lot to do with it. A lot of the
Yeah, they're
programs
great.
that they're doing have been wonderful. They've introduced us to, this morning I was part of a meeting for the Northeastern Wisconsin Manufacturing Alliance, so NUMA, and they're looking at how do we get more into the schools, how do we get the kids out there. A couple months ago we had tours from local tech ed instructors, guidance counselors, principals from the area school districts to come through our facility along with 4 other facilities in town, get tours to get an idea of how rugged and ugly manufacturing is. When they walk into our
you guys,
facility, it's just like
your facility looks great.
Yeah, it's 73 degrees year round. Wow, the place is really clean. That's how it always is. It's not a dungeness place to come to work.
Yep.
It's bright. The music's playing.
Shifting the paradigm on what people think manufacturing is.
Yeah, we're wearing shorts 9 months of the year. Some of us are. But it's a relaxing place to go and be productive and be yourself, versus, hey, we're all uniformed up and there's time or bells ringing at every quarter hour to tell you what your shift is over. It's nothing like that at all.
So when you think about growing your business, do you think about adding additional property, plant, equipment, and direct labor staff, or do you also think about the demand side and adding sales, business development, marketing, or where do you see the biggest growth potential? Is it on creating more demand, or is it expanding capacity to, keep up with existing customer demand?
As we expand with our product line, I believe that's more of it. Instead of just adding more people for our sales, by dealing with the distributors, we're trying.
They are your sales staff, essentially.
Yeah. So when we have a place in Menominee Falls that has 27 salespeople, and we're only dealing with 7 of them, we know we have to work on those relationships to get to the other 20.
Yep.
And we're planning on hosting their regional sales or their monthly state sales meeting in Fond du Lac in October. So we just had a confirmation this morning from that company that we're going to have 27 of their salespeople at our facility, and it just a big opportunity for us to not have to hire our own, but to get, if we even got 5 more salespeople of theirs talking about us, that's
a big percentage.
Yeah, better than us hiring 5 salespeople.
So when you guys invest in capacity, do you try to, over capacity, invest in more than you need at the time to keep up with demand, or do you see kind of every single year looking out ahead at how many new salespeople you're able to pick up, or where the demand is at? Like how far out are you planning from a capacity standpoint?
At this, not very far.
Yep.
So I wish we had a great 5-year plan. I can put a number on a piece of paper and poke and hope. We might get there or not. It's the how much can we do today to impress upon somebody else new? How can we impress upon all the customers that we're working with already that we're really good at what we do? A couple of the measurables when we became ISO certified a few years ago, where it was on-time delivery, and we looked at what can we do to get to a Walmart type of service? Because I had read years ago that Walmart demands 98% or 98% on-time delivery from their vendors, or you're done. Mm-hmm. Measuring you on a quarterly basis, or you're done. So if you hit it, or you don't. So it's like, okay, we'll do that. That seems pretty lofty. Well, we've averaged that plus for the last 6 years. So it doesn't seem like that big of a deal because we're doing it all the time. So to tell our customers out there that we are that good at on-time delivery. Same with our returns. It's less than 1% of the work that we do is returned to us. So we know we're good at what we do. We're delivering it when we plan on it. We just need to spread that word more.
Yep.
So like we did discuss before, we're working on our website now to try to get that more as a presence of what we do. We've been working very hard internally to through some turnover along the way, but to get people in the right places and get their better forms of communication than me going out and saying, hey, do it. And then 3 months later, I'll check in. Are they doing it? No, they stopped 3 months ago.
Too many ideas.
Right. There's too many ideas. Something like that. But we have a much better group of people leading right from our operations manager on down through our CNC leads, through all the other people that we count on, process engineering throughout the shop, that they're more in tune now than they ever have been. So to limit ourselves to, here's our sales goal. No, we want to see how good can we get, and then go and talk to more customers and see where the sales takes us. So it's been a different mentality. It's not the old school looking with projections, everything like that. It's how great can we become, and then let's go out and tell everybody.
Sounds like a great plan.
Oh, maybe to you. Other people want to have more measurables, but
so yeah. One way that I view the kind of the COVID period over the last couple of years is, it's like 10 years worth of problems compressed into 2 years. It's weak points of businesses expose themselves, strong points expose themselves. We had, swung from demand issues to supply issues to, all kinds of things that businesses were dealing with. If you don't mind me asking, within your business, what were some of the really strong points that revealed themselves, and what were some of the things where you guys had to work on things you didn't expect that you'd have to work on? Certainly, supply chain is one of those things that everybody had to work on.
The biggest thing, as an eternal optimist like myself, had to work on was, how long is this going to last? It can't last forever.
Yep.
This is a 6-week thing. This is a 12-week thing. This is not. Oh my gosh, we're many months into it. One of the big tests that we had in not knowing what was going on with the rest of the world is, how do we plan for it? What should we be doing? And I had the worst plan ever, and our employees can tell you that. Is I pulled out our dry erase board and I stood in front of everybody, and it was empty. And they go, "Here's our plan." We don't know.
Yeah,
we just don't know.
Yeah.
So, 6 weeks into it, 12 weeks into it, it was basically the same plan. We don't know what it's going to be, but we're going to stick together and we're going to cross-train as much as we had. We made a decision very early. We're not going to lay anybody off.
Yep.
We asked for people if they were uncomfortable with what could happen by being at work, if they wanted to take a volunteer layoff. We had 2 people do that. At the time, we had 30 employees. So 2 of the people did. Worked out well for them because then they had the reimbursement for the people who did to take the layoff. So it worked out very well for them. In the interim, we had people asking to be laid off, then asking that once the extra
unintended consequences, right?
Right. Yeah. But to have that time and tell people, and then this is another thing. It's being recorded, so what the heck? We told people early our goal was to break even. Yeah. We aren't looking to make a profit this year. I wanted to make it through so every family felt safe, and knowing that the more training we can do during this time is going to pay off down the road. Yep. I just didn't think it would take that full year plus to to really get back in the flow and utilize all those skills. But the people who have stuck it through, we can rely on them more than ever. They did take advantage of the opportunity to learn more from each other, and we did more cross training. I'm very confident with 95% of the jobs that we have a good backup right now. Especially mine, I'm backed up 3 times. So, but it's we just did things that you'd never dream of in the position that you're in. And you made it through. You look back, and
necessity is the mother of all invention. Right?
Yes, absolutely. So we made it through. Supply chain issues are different to us because we're used to delivering so quickly. But the thing that we're fortunate with during that time, the customers that we retained have been through it together with us, and they understand. So when you make that uncomfortable phone call, hey, this used to take 6 weeks. Now it's going to be 4 months. And they're like, okay, we get it. Because we're telling our customers the same thing.
Yep.
Like, oh.
So what did the carbide supply chain do? Or how did it react, I guess, early on? Or say 2020, 2021, and then current state. What does that look like?
The biggest reaction has been what seems, hey, we can offer people a price increase and another, and we just keep absorbing it, and then we pass it to customers, and that's been the most frustrating thing of when is this going to end? Yeah. And because the first couple of price increases, we just ate.
Yeah, same here.
We don't want to lose anybody. We don't want to raise our price when times are tough. That'd be the worst thing we could do. So we'll just eat it. Well, when it continued, it's like we have to
losing long-term approach, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Yeah, it's we had 12 price increases in 1 year. I mean, that's like a decade's worth of price changes, and we had certain lead times that went from 12 weeks to we have certain electronics that we had ordered July of last year that we still haven't received. Mm-hmm. So it's we took a very similar approach, just trying to meet everybody where they were at. Trying how they. Everybody kind of had a different take on what was going on, but also keeping in mind that we are a manufacturing company. It's hard to play by the same rules as everybody else when it comes to work. And you can't make light poles from your living room. So, but it was great. I mean, that's a very generous approach that you guys took, and I'm sure the people that you're able to retain really appreciate that.
What surprised me was, and I forget the term right now, but when the government came out and said we have to have the essential companies, and like what's essential about cutting tools? But we got letters from our customers saying you're staying open. We need you, because we have to produce paper toweling. We have to do.
Yeah, you guys are really the front of the line.
Right.
You guys are making the tools that make the parts.
Right.
For a variety of industries.
Because that first week, it's like we're going to be shutting down pretty quick here because that's and we got a couple letters from some of our customers saying you have to remain open because we're going to be open, and next thing you know, they're making masks, and we need to have blades there for them, and and saw blades apparently were essential for something along the way. I'm thinking, well, construction's just going to stop. Oh no, it seemed to have picked up.
Are the saw blades carbide as well?
Carbide tipped.
Carbide tipped. Okay. Interesting.
So carbide, coming from China.
Yep.
So we didn't ever really run out of it, but the prices increased tremendously during that time. So it's, again, we got stuck in that situation of telling our customers it's just going to cost more. The thing that's a bigger surprise to me has been this past year with getting steel.
Yeah.
And like, we're America. We should have steel here. Could make it on every street corner, and we're struggling with that. Where something we could get in 4 to 6 weeks is now 9 months.
Yeah,
for,
and that's the world that we live in. Is the light pole structure side of things. A product that used to take 4 weeks or even faster. Yeah, it was like up to 20 weeks in some cases. Things are getting better now, and then also when we got done with the building design about a year ago. It seemed like every week that we waited to sign the contract, the cost would go up another few percent. So we were able to lock that in earlier on, but it was, again, every single month. It was lead times are getting longer and prices are going up. So everybody was caught in the same boat, really.
Never in my life did I think that this quote is valid for 3 days.
Yeah.
From a vendor. I'm like, wait, what? Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it got to the point with a lot of our part vendors where even parts that it really was good for a morning, because they're working with supply houses, and they were getting different pricing every single hour that they would send in a quote. So, and then at some point, instead of even updating quotes, you just get a surcharge. So it used to be a quote that was valid for 90 days. Something you would quoted and you'd order the next day, and then it would ship in a couple days. It would come with a 10-20% surcharge. So things seem to be leveling off a little bit, which I think is good. But yeah, it's back to the decades worth of problems in 2 years.
When are the prices going to go back down? That's my next question.
I don't know. They have leveled off. We buy a lot of aluminum. We buy a lot of steel. Electronics. Electronics did not go up as much as steel and aluminum. Aluminum used to be like ingot. It was like, I think it was like $1.80 a pound. I think right now it's like $2.80 a pound. So it's gone up significantly. I think that one of the things that concerns me is if some of the infrastructure spending starts, essentially suddenly there's going to be a huge customer for everybody, aka the federal government, and whatever capacity is left is going to get gobbled up by the infrastructure spending, which is further going to increase prices. So I just think that people are going to have to stay flexible and kind of roll with the punches for a while.
And that's a struggle with our the steel plate supplier for our saw blades, when they say, if we have these in stock, you should buy all of them.
Yeah. That's a great sales pitch.
Right. I would love to be that salesperson. You should. I know you need 10, but we have 100 available. You should buy all of them, because you might not get them for another year. So that's a struggle, but hey, good for them if they can get away with it.
True. Very true. It'll be interesting. So giving back. I know you're big into community involvement, and also involvement in the business community. What does that look like for you in Fond du Lac?
Giving back.
Envision business communities, and also I think, did you win an award for that as well? No.
Happened to. So.
Okay. I was gonna say, is this the wrong guy?
Adam is panicking right now. He's giving me this look like, Becca.
I was told. So yes, giving back. That is something that again, having that 10-year front row seat to what the previous owner was doing, and looking at how few opportunities we had at the time. If you wanted to do volunteering, you did it on your own, and also being raised by parents who gave back an awful lot. You just kind of get a mindset, if I ever get in that position, I'm going to give people opportunities around me, and take advantage of opportunities myself to get involved with the local community. So back in 2016, I was fortunate enough to become a member or join the board of directors for Envision Greater Fond du Lac. And they did the merger at the time between Fond du Lac County Economic Development and the Association of Commerce. So I was able to be part of the merger, learned an awful lot from a lot of great people. And when you start hanging around with those people, it raises your own level of
For
what
sure.
you think you can do and what I believe in the community.
Yeah, it's great perspective.
Yeah, but how no one ever said it, but you start to realize like, hey, we're in this together.
Yeah.
I mean, we are in this together. You and I go back, 45 minutes now as friends, and just thinking it's like, hey, what can we do together?
Yeah.
Maybe not for each other, but for other people and get them more involved.
Yep.
That's just a very powerful thing. And I was in a role and was fortunate enough within Vision to be on, like I said, with the board of directors. I was a board chair and went through some transactions or transition internally on their end, but also some changes within how they were going to structure things, even with the agribusiness people who've been doing it one way forever. Hey, we want to try it a little bit different, and to work our way through some of those conversations, to be part of the manufacturing innovations and technology group that we put together for small businesses to start touring at each other's places. Then now you're on the committee. So
yeah, we had one meeting.
Yeah. But we had momentum. COVID hit, so we shut everything down. People didn't want to go see Mercury or Sadov or Mid-States Aluminum, Giddings and Lewis, all these places we've had tours of to go see what they're up to. And now we're going to get back into doing that again. That's really exciting for me because you see it more that, yeah, we are all in this together. And whether we're buying things from each other or we're neighbors to each other, it's a short time to make a big impact.
For sure. It snowballs in such a positive way. Once you get momentum behind, some of that good stuff, it really speeds up as well.
Absolutely. And when you could see and people say, you're never looking for the praise, but when people say stuff, and then I typically deflect it, but it's powerful. And a couple people that I know that I get thank you cards, handwritten thank you cards from time to time, and I save every single one. It's just real cool to know that somebody was affected by what you did. Same with our company. We don't for any of the area schools. I don't think that any of the tech ed programs or shop classes or anything like that should pay for any of the sharpening they receive. So when they come in North Fond du Lac or Fond du High or whoever, all the different schools, Winnebago Lutheran Academy, handful of others to come in, we don't charge them for any of that because I'm like, that should go back to the students so they can learn something else or get more technology. Sharpening a saw blade for them, no big deal. We'll do it all day, every day for them.
That's great.
We were Blue Line Hockey for all the skaters. We haven't charged Blue Line Hockey for sharpening of their Zamboni blades for 9 years because that's important. I'm not a skater, but there's plenty of young
It's a great
kids,
facility to support.
Yeah, a bunch of young kids who are able to. We have our logo on top of one of the Zamboni machines, which is kind of cool to see. But to do that, any of the veterans who come in our back door looking to have their saw blades sharpened, it's like, no, you've done plenty. We just want to give back because, again, we're all in this together. So why not make the best of it while we're doing it together? And hopefully we can all come out on top instead of leaving, pushing people down to get where we want to be. Yep. And I don't agree with that.
Yes, small businesses in a community can be such a force for good. It's because you're doing it for all the right reasons. The word spreads and maybe it ends up impacting the business in a positive way. But we with our business, 98% of our business is outside of Wisconsin.
Wow. And
we still try to give back, in various ways. As much as possible, but it's all for those reasons to try and be a small force for good in the area and network and collaborate. And it's just, I think it's part of the reasons why small businesses are really important.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's fun too to do donations.
Yeah.
Here and when we say we can't write the Mercury big check and always stand behind it, but we can write a lot of small checks to us and just to see the excitement of it.
Yeah.
Dealing with big brothers, big sisters, and participating in their bowling,
yep.
Doing things for St. Vincent de Paul, the Boys and Girls Club. I mean, it's just on and on, the things that you should be doing because we're in a position that's better than a lot of people that they are serving. So what can we do to help?
Absolutely.
It's a lot of fun.
Well, man, thank you very much for coming on. I think it's a great spot to end, but come back. We keep going.
Molly just asked me how much longer they're going.
Are we on an SD card yet?
Oh, we're not even close,
right.
but I don't know if
we can save that for next time. But
we'll do a follow-up.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Nice to meet you.
Yep.
Good to see you.